Hello and welcome everybody to the Monday Rookie Series here at the Nürburgring. I'm Mike Nause in the booth. Joined with me today is Steven Tomazic. Steven, welcome.
Hello, Mike. Hello, everybody here on TRACKILICIOUS. Welcome to another amazing round of Monday night GT4 racing action.
Yes, indeed. We have a load of rookies on the grid tonight. In fact, 27 of them, but that is not going to be it for tonight. Of course, coming up as well, our GT4 Open Series, our Patreon Championship, which a big shout out to all the Patrons. We'll pop them up on screen just for a second. Massive shout out to all you guys. You are amazing. While we have it, though, we are here, as I said, at the Nürburgring. 3.1 miles, located here in Nürburgring, Germany. 15 corners, 6 to the left, 9 to the right, with 57 meters of elevation as well here. Found back in 1927, the original layout of this track. Of course, it has changed since, and this layout added in 1984, and the current one that we use since 2003. Lots of history here, as well as the Nordschleife, of course. That is going to be the talk of the town here, coming into ACC, coming soon, of course, soon TM, we'll just say. And Jose spelt the name wrong. Hashtag blame Eric, though I had it spelt correctly on my slide. How did he spell it? Let's take a look. Where are you at, Jose? Are you one of the Jose Guzman? He did. Regardless, I'll have that fixed. That's what you get for having Eric do the graphics for you. Also, just a big little announcement before we get into the session. Of course, we are into the qualifying currently. In the background, our cars are going around the circuit, but we'll touch into that in a moment. We have Syntho Drive coming up. Now, what is Syntho Drive, you ask? And I do not blame you for asking. Well, what it is, it's going to be a very sort of similar to F1 Manager, if you guys are familiar with that, where you get to manage cars going around a track. We can see here, if I can type a Syntho, it's not the easiest to type. You can find signups and the rules where in the chat currently, Nightbot providing that. And it's going to be super fun. Like I say, it's a F1 Manager style thing where we have the drivers and the team managers are you, basically. You can sign up to that and have the decisions made for upgrades, as well as the thing that's going to be hosted for F1 on Assetto Corsa, and it's going to be coming up on Wednesdays soon enough. And we will have that, like I say, announced in a little bit. It's already announced in the Discord. If you do want to find more information, that one is going to be super exciting. I personally cannot wait. Of course, that is with Josie Koo, and he's been putting that on for a while now over on his stream, but we're bringing it over and kind of having a little Tracklicious matchup with that. And Jose being a little rude to Nightbot. Come on, what did Nightbot do to you, Jose? It's just a robot. But nonetheless, why don't we hop down into our session? As we can see here, some new names out on track currently. We have Matthew, and I apologize for any new mispronunciations that we do have out. It is going to be Jasuria, the Indonesian driver, or Monegasque driver, one of the two, as they have the literal exact same flag, so makes life easy for me.
Oh man, yeah, there's a lot of people are out on track right now. Currently, Navrete is in the P1 position with a 2:04.5, followed behind by Christian De Soto. De Soto is currently on a lap, but he's not really improving much. And then in third position, we have Marcos Gonzalez, who's currently sitting in the pits right now with a 2:06.5. But after these three drivers, it is very close racing. You have Umbansk, I believe. Yuzaban Umbansk. He is at a 2:07 flat, looking to improve on that time, followed by Jeffrey Dallas, currently sitting in the pits with a 2:07.5. Scott Sullivan in P6, currently out on the track, looking to better his time. Potts Weaver with a 2:07.7. Melanson in P8 with a 207.73. Like I said, these are some very close pack we got going on here. Then in P9 currently is Alan Calvello with a 208 flat. And rounding out the top 10 is Jan Rodrix with a 210.1.
Yeah, just around a new top 10 member there, but around 3 seconds to bring in our top 10. Quite the spread, actually, in terms of the times out there, which is what you would expect for a rookie league. Of course, a lot of these drivers out there, not the most experienced, not compared to your Ollie Razas necessarily, your even Jose Guzman's out there in chat currently. Also, big welcome to everyone in chat as well. We have Karu, we have Raleigh Duce, we have Doc Millweed, Jose Guzman, D. Thomas Snoopy, myself, I guess. I'm in chat, why not? Lizzie, of course. Lizzie, welcome. And we also had a donation earlier from One Bigly, $5 before the stream even started. Thank you so much, One Bigly. Once again, your continued support here is so motivating, and we appreciate it. Thank you so much, Jacob. But as it stands, drivers potentially for pole position. We'll see what Usuban I think I remember somebody corrected me on this. I think it's Umbanesque. I think you have to put emphasis on the esque. Umbanesque. The Swiss driver. No, not Swiss. Wait, Swiss? Maybe Swiss. I can't remember. That name is not Swiss. I remember we had it. There's a Swiss flag on the front. That is the Swiss flag, but irrelevant. Eduardo Layton.
Oh man. Yeah, there's a lot of drivers doing better on these final laps of qualifying. Ubanesque being one of them, currently up 2/10 on his Delta, looking to improve. I don't think it'll be enough to improve his position up to fourth place, but still an improvement to get him a little more space between him and Gonzalez.
He will have one more attempt here tonight before the qualifying comes to an end. You can see that with a little bit of traffic in front that could impede him. A car going off, that's going to take care of that. Still one more, though. Might give a little bit of a handy tow down the straight. Even nice apex there through the Coca-Cola curve onto the start-finish straight now, heading down towards turn one. Of course, the Valvoline. No, not the Valvoline. Excuse me. The Hauken. He is going to be looking for that braking marker around the 100 mark. Getting down into second gear and on the throttle. Very deep through the first corner. Going to be trying to round through that arena sector. Take it a little wide through here, but that is not quite what we're seeing from Umbanesque. A few tenths being left on the table and maybe getting distracted from that car in front as they are having a bit of a time themselves. And that will be the end of that lap for, I think that was Mike Patrick. No, that was not Mike Patrick, that was somebody else. Anyways, Umbanesque here through Valvoline, chucks it in, has to make a little correction on the wheel, a bit of hesitation. Now back down to second. Was that even first for a moment there? No, it was down to second. The Aston, very short gearing. Looking for the braking marker coming up into Dunlop.
Oh, and just goes wide and parks it off the racing line.
That will be the qualifying for Umbanesque. Now Potts Weaver 4 tenths behind. He's also about 4 tenths behind a car in front, it seems. That could be a bit of a hindrance. But sticking with it in the big wins, McLaren. We'll see if that comes to fruition tonight. Currently P8, 2.8 seconds off of pole from Pablo Navarrete. And maybe a bit of a tall ask there, Steven.
Yeah, just a little bit, but I wonder if he has a structured annuity and he needs cash now.
Does he have a JG Wentworth livery?
Yes, he does.
Oh my goodness. I wasn't even paying it. Yep, he does. You can see the lovely, okay. Well, fair enough. One of the most instinctive jingles through of history on that McLaren tonight. And
Yes,
Jose
yes, it is.
asking, can you do rookies? Are you a rookie on SimGrid? That will be the answer to that. If you are not a rookie on SimGrid, then the answer is no. We got TJ Washed in chat. Washed Up Squid, welcome. We're following along with Potts Weaver through the NGK chicane in the back end, stepping out, and he is most certainly going to need some cash after that one. Going to have some repairs for the boys in the pit lane. Matt Melanson, 7/10 up on his Delta. He's going to come to the line currently in P11, and just to add insult to injury, overtakes Potts Weaver as well up into P8.
Yeah, there is always going to be trouble at that NGK chicane. It is, if you do not get it right, it will send you off, and Potts Weaver just was on the receiving end of it.
Yeah, definitely you hate to see it for Potts Weaver there, but a bit of an unforced error, all on his own mistake there. As we have it, though, why don't we get in here and meet our drivers tonight, starting, of course, in P1. It is going to be the Argentinian driver here, Pablo Navrente. Up next will be, of course, Eduardo Leighton in the number 31, just driving Porsche 992, excuse me, the Porsche Cayman. Locking out the front row, we have Christian De Soto in P3, the number 59 Porsche, as well as Caio Jr. in P4, the Brazilian Allied Racing. Up next, going to be Usman Umban-esque in P5, the number 67 Team Grilled Cheese. Going to be next to Marco Gonzalez in P6, the number 18 Porsche as well. Lots of Porsches here up at the front tonight. Scott Sullivan in the AMG, the 90s Taco Bell inspired number 43 there in P7. Up next, Matt Melanson in P8, the number 77 Alpine. Jason Nauber going to be lined up here on row 5 in P9, the number 27 Noobs RS driver with Potts Weaver Company in P10, rounding out our top 10 tonight with Jeff Dallas next to him in P11, the number 12 Porsche, and Alan Calvello Company in P12. Jan Rodricks is going to be 13th quickest in the AMG, the Baseline Racing 133 with Mike Patrick Company in P14, the number 7 AMG Black. Ryan Brown in the Rub and Tug Camaro in P15, the 909 with Brandon Mellenbacher Company in P16. Simon Tonkin, 17th quickest in the 117, got no brakes. Raleigh Duce in 18th quickest, the Mad Fox Racing AMG with Stefano Rinaldi in P19. Michael Cortez to round out our top 20 in the Noobs RS Junior livery there, the BMW with Seth Lincoln in 21st. Zane Bliskett, 22nd quickest in the number 64 Mad Fox. We got Sam Warden in P23 with Jeremiah Romano Company in 24th. Mike Fisher will be 25th quickest with Jaeger Karu in P26 and another Mad Fox racing car. Matthew Jasira in P27 with Jeff Franks in the Porsche Motorsports number 73 Porsche, bringing up the back of the grid. Cars now begin to start up and begin their 3.1 mile outlap here at the Nürburgring. Steven, it is going to be a thriller. Any predictions here for these drivers tonight?
Predictions for tonight. I have a feeling we're going to have a very clean race. We might see some... Oh, that was strange.
We're fine. Everything's fine.
We might see some bumping and banging coming down front straight on the start, going into turn 1, but overall, I think we're going to have a pretty good race here.
Goodness, I don't think everything's fine, Steven.
Oh, no.
Oh, my. What is going on? This is so weird. Uh-oh.
Technical difficulties in the truck?
I thought Eduardo Leighton pulled over. Yes, technical difficulties in the truck, yes. as we try to get those solved before the race, of course. Hopefully. It's looking bad, Steven.
What seems to be the problem?
Stand by. ACC TV not wanting to cooperate.
Oh boy.
Like, at all. Yeah. Anyways, as we have it tonight, Pablo Navarrete in pole position. Eduardo Leighton going to be bringing him up in the front. Two drivers that we haven't seen too much of in terms of the TRACKILICIOUS, so it'll be interesting to see. Melanson P1 is the prediction. We also have some support for Caio Jr. from Gil Silverin. Brazilian love, you love to see that.
Yeah, as we're now starting to come on up to the not so straight. We're gonna start seeing these drivers start to file in, get back into position as we go into our lovely 2x2 Noah's Ark formation.
Yes, indeed, Steven. And the ACC TV still doesn't want to work. Is ACC down, everyone?
Don't know.
Well, regardless, I suppose we can just pretend like it's not here for now and make do with what the base game offers. Okay. As we have it, Eduardo Leighton, Pablo Navarrete lined up here on pole position, or in the front row, I should say, going to be coming around the Coca-Cola curve. Of course, I'm Mike Nause in the booth. Joined with me tonight is going to be Stephen Tomazic, rounding the final corner now to come to the line. Before we go green tonight, this is race 1, of course, 2. This is the rookie race, as we are going to be heading now to the line. And green, and it's going to be a smashing start for Pablo Navarrete. Looks like immediately, though, challenged by Eduardo Leighton behind. Oh, my goodness, you can see everybody green. Looking at the cars from behind in probably the worst camera angle possible, but I can't change it. I apologize, everyone.
There's some bumping and banging, but it looks like everybody gets through. Yes, everybody made it through turn 1.
Oh, except that we have... Oh my goodness, as we see Alan Calvello, enough midair time to be served snacks, and we got the best view in the house of that one. Looking up the field, we see side-by-side action, Christian DeSoto, and tap from, I think that was Caio Jr. No, that was Eduardo Leighton as well. Melanson, we saw the Melanson P1 prediction. Looks like that is not going to turn out to be correct tonight, that is for sure.
Oh, man. We all made it through turn 1 fine, but turn 2 turned into a little bit of chaos there, as we've now seen a lot of movement. Leighton has taken over P1 and has gotten away from Pablo Navarrete and has a 3-second gap. Mike Patrick is moved all the way up into P4, followed closely by Scott Sullivan, and that's where we have our closest battle. It's actually from P3 all the way back to P7 is our closest big battle going on here on this first lap.
As the best camera angle right now pretty much is the picture-in-picture as the guys in the truck try to work on anything here. In fact, I have an idea. What we're gonna do. Oh, it's so scuffed. Yeah, alright, that's what we're gonna do. Steven, you're gonna have the main feed control here for a little bit, and
oh boy.
we're just gonna do this. It's gonna look terrible, but I'm gonna relog because I have no choice. So
Alrighty. So we're now finishing our first lap. Leighton has control of this, followed by Navarrete, who's starting to catch up to him already. We're now coming through. Whoa. We just lost pit wall.
Yeah, that's my apologies. Pit wall, come back up. There we go. Pit wall's back up.
Okay. There we go.
And
Okay.
my ACC TV's back up. Okay, great. Let's, yeah. Apologies, everyone. Gotta love live TV. Something's gotta not work.
Mike Fisher just went off. I believe that's at turn 1. Missed his brake point and goes flying off into the kitty litter.
Oh, no.
So lost a couple of positions with that one, but he's back on track. Safe rejoin.
We got Devin Anthony in chat. Welcome, Devin Anthony. What's up, y'all? We're just panicking as nothing seems to want to work, but it's everything I think is fixed at this point.
Yeah, I think what happened was that little hiccup with the servers probably knocked off the truck. Whoa! As we got some contact in behind. I don't know who that was. I think that was Melanson.
Melanson already been involved in a contact tonight. We're taking an eye here at Calvello. Calvello with enough, as we said earlier, mid-air time for some snacks. He is going to be battling alongside Matt Melanson. In fact, with Simon Tonkin company in P12. Simon not really able to respond there. He gets dropped 2 positions. Allen able to carry on for now. Up ahead, we have Jason Nauber in the number 27 AMG, the Noobs Are Us AMG. Coming down the back, not so straight, into the NGK chicane, and gaining way too much, in fact. Gives the Camaro a little bit of a tap, I think, and somehow Ryan Brown managed to hold on, as well as Jason Nauber. But, Steven, that was extremely close.
Yeah, it looked like he pulled the line that I was racing on last night in the GT3s, where you just take the grass and hope for the best.
Side-by-side action into the first corner. Kaio Jr. on the inside. We saw some love for Kaio Jr. earlier, and he seems to be making that delivery, or making that promise come true here. Kaio up into P6 with Jeff Dallas behind now in P7. Scott Sullivan ahead of them in 5th in that 90s Taco Bell, chasing down Jan Rodrix. The battle up at front is actually quite close. Pablo Navarrete 2 seconds behind Eduardo Layton, but for now, Mike Patrick trailing 6 seconds. Also, Mike Patrick in P3. What? How many positions did he gain?
He got past Rodrix going through turn 1. Rodrix went a little bit wide, unfortunately, and Mike Patrick has gained 11 positions according to the booth.
Yeah, I believe that. Oh, Usaban left? Oh no. Did Usaban get tangled up in that lap 1 incident? I'm assuming so. We're only, ooh, big send from Potts Weaver. Matthew there getting kind of, I think he was letting him by. I'm not sure. I don't know if he was letting him by or not. That seemed like it was intentional, but also that could have just been a very aggressive overtake there from Potts Weaver and made, well, work. Brandon Mellenbacher following him through in suit. I guess one other thing that we have now is where to go. But also, Michael Cortez involved in this action. Usman got hit about 30 times. Oh my. That is never ideal.
Oof. Hate to see that. It looks like we got some movement in the back. Muhlenbacher's catching up to Potts Weaver, but there's a big gap now between Cortez and Muhlenbacher, with DeSoto gaining position against Yasaru? Matthew Jesore.
Yeah, I think Jasuri.
Probably butchering that.
Yeah. And I think I said earlier, the Indonesian driver, my apologies, it's Singapore driver? I don't know what you call someone from Singapore, but from Singapore. Jason Nauber is stranded on the side of the road here.
He's parked right before the entry to turn 1.
So he's already picked up a load of damage. So something had happened there on that final corner, maybe into the NGK chicane. I don't know if you want to find that, Steven. But definitely Jason having some mass casualty on that for that car, that's for sure. That is not ideal. Full onboard lap for Scott Sullivan as well, and teach my Devin, wrong time. See, this is why I should have taken that off. Eric put that one on without my permission, but Steven can't teach me any Portuguese. Can you?
I cannot teach you any Portuguese. I am sorry. But I think Jason Nauber ran out of fuel.
What?
He's very off pace coming into the first turn and just pulls off.
So he must have forgot to add fuel from qualifying then or something. That's kind of odd.
It's a possibility.
Whoa! Big send from Sam Warden onto Michael Cortez. Michael kind of got caught sleeping mid-corner there, and it went wide, and Sam Warden kind of assisted him on going a little bit more wide on top of that. Bit further up, Matt Melanson and that's Alvin Calvello. We'll get that full onboard lap from Scott Sullivan as well. Do not fret. In fact, Scott Sullivan, this is probably the best possible time to do it. Scott Sullivan, we're going to pop on board with him right now. He's in P6. Lovely result as it stands. Going to be looking to gain a position onto Jan Rodrix in front. That inside line not going to be there. You can see Scott very comfortable to just stick to the racing line. Maybe go for a little switchback. You're going to be a bit too far back to make that dream become any sort of reality. Now the arena sector, very conservative entry. Up a gear, maybe too high there at least on entry. In third, maybe could have went out a second, but hey, I'm not an AMG driver, so what do I know? Now through the arena sector. God, that AMG is so lumbering. I know it's the Mercedes AMG arena, but that Mercedes looks so slow through there, Steven.
Yeah, it's not really good on the short pickups, but once you start getting into the straights, the Mercedes really, really picks up the pace. And unfortunately, Melanson and I think Ryan Brown collected each other, or Calvello collected each other coming into turn one this time by, and they lost a lot of time.
You know, we normally praise the Rookie League for being one of the cleanest leagues out there, and it normally is, but Steven, I gotta admit this time around, it's not quite playing up to that card.
No, it is not. A lot of these drivers, it looks like they're hungry to gain any position that they can, and they're not thinking with their heads and driving safe.
They're thinking with their feet, Steven. That is often the case, and once you get that foot a little bit too excited and maybe forget to brake, well, we saw what happens there in the first corner. And Devin Anthony also pointing out that's why you save, regarding the out of fuel for Jason Nauber, that's why you save different setups, quali and race. Yes, absolutely. But also everyone forgets to load a setup every now and then, you know. You had to run the lube before you got to the rig, is what it is. That was a full onboard lap with Scott Sullivan. He didn't actually make any move. I would have thought he could have, but he seems awfully comfortable behind Jan Rodrix.
He's probably just waiting for Rodrix to make a mistake and capitalize, because Rodrix has shown in previous laps him going wide into turn one, just missing that brake point just by that little bit. As we're seeing a move right now from Calvello on Tonkin, getting a little spicy and bumping and banging around, but right before turn two.
Oh my goodness, what is happening?
As Tonkin goes wide and opens up the corner for Lincoln, who cannot make a move.
So we've just had a three-way collision. What's going on here? Oh, that AMG has gone into the back of the McLaren, and this AMG arriving to the scene of the crime kind of just takes the line. Brandon there on not really reacting to the yellow flags in front, but that's, you know, maybe didn't see it. It's a blind apex. I can totally understand. Up at the front, side by side. Oh my goodness. Pablo Navarrete going eager onto the grass, trying for an on-the-grass pass, but not going to happen this time around.
And we have Mike Fisher going off in the back. It looks like coming into, turn three. He just misses the brake point and sends it right into the wall. hopefully you can get that car back around and into the pits to get those repairs done.
Wow, some incredible stuff here from Pablo and Eduardo. They are staying with each other here, and he's deep. Eduardo is deep through the final corner. That's going to give Eduardo the inside line, forces him onto the rumble strips, and that should allow Pablo to get a much better traction when he goes to plant that throttle. He has the inside line as well coming into the first corner. Every advantage should be here for Pablo Navarrete, but the overtake is not done yet.
These two are battling for that position, and Pablo really wants it back after missing out on the start of the race. And it looks like Jeff Dallas had a little bit of a problem over at the NGK, got spun around, rejoined nicely, but moved all the way back into 9th position. As we have this battle up here for P4 between Mike Patrick, Jan Roderick's, and Scott Sullivan still going on. It looks like Mike Patrick might have had a bit of an off. He's now 1.5 seconds behind Kyle Jr., who's now in that P3 position.
Yeah, nicely done for the Brazilian driver, up into P3 for now. Looking like he is going to be able to hold on to it as well. Mike Patrick 2.3 seconds off the pace, and he has pressure from behind. Now the question is Jan Roderick's quicker or is Scott Sullivan quicker? We're going to find that out soon enough, but with 6 minutes and 5 seconds left, we're certainly running out of time here.
Yes, we are. 6 minutes is not a lot of time to make the moves you need to gain more positions in this series. But hopefully they can get it done. As we see, Mike Cortez was catching up to Jessara.
I
will get this name correct.
I don't think we will, Stephen, unless someone tells us. I think we really need someone to tell us that one on how to phonetically pronunciate that.
Yes.
It is a name. They're from Singapore, but I just don't know where the language originates from. If that's like a Thai pronunciation or something, I don't know. Whoa! Big drift!
Big drift by Jan Roderick's. Opens up the lane for Scott Sullivan, who's trying to sneak his nose in. Is alongside of him right now.
Scott should have the much better run as well coming onto the straight. But we can see it's going to be even car versus even car. But for some reason, Jan Roderick has legs. Must be a little bit of a different aerodynamic setup. Scott Sullivan more so on the wing department, and that will help him land this overtake into the first corner as he does so brilliantly.
Yeah, very good job by Scott Sullivan keeping his cool and waiting for Jan Roderick to make a mistake and getting that pass done heading into the turn 1.
Also,
now he needs to chase down Mike Patrick.
Big shout out here to Yeager Karu, who's up from what I can tell 6 positions, but I know it's more than that. Yeager started a bit further back, up into P11 for right now. Up next on the chopping block is going to be Alan Calvello. We also have back-to-back action for the Jan Roderick and Scott Sullivan battle. Jan is not having any of it and wanting that position back immediately. What does Scott Sullivan have to say, though? Heading now down towards the Dunlop. It is going to be the inside line for the green AMG, but no, he has to back out before we get there.
Yeah, he peeked out and it looked like he was going to make a move, but unfortunately just did not have the pace coming down into Dunlop to really take that inside line away from Scott Sullivan. As we have a battle now for P11 where Yeager Karu, as we watch Tonkin just go a little bit wide. Oh, you hate to see it. And just open the gap up. And now Calvello is pulling away from Tonkin a little bit. Tonkin getting a little bit of a run coming up onto the straight. As we see Calvello getting a little squirrely and has opened the door for Tonkin, and Tonkin is now in the P11 position.
Both cars getting a little bit squirrely, but unfortunately Alvin getting the worst end of that. We also have an update on the pronunciation, Steven, and I think I was correct in that we were never going to pronounce this one correctly, no matter how hard we tried. Ollie, let me try. It's Yaya Soria? Is that correct? Yaya Soria?
Jaya
Or
Surya?
Yaya Surya. Is it Jaya? Oh, Jaya Surya.
Jaya Surya.
What
Okay.
origin is that? Jaya
Sure.
Surya.
I'm sure we'll find out soon, as we now have a battle for P12. Zane Blisket has caught up to Calavello. Calavello is unfortunately just falling backwards. Is getting caught up. Oh, a little bit of bumping and banging there.
Zane holding on to it nicely. That's Potts Weaver
Almost
sliding into both of their DMs and making it stick as well. Dude, those guys need a cash inflation. I'm not sure they do. JG Wentworth is through. How Matt, sorry, I looked at it, but I didn't say anything. Matt Melanson. Oh no!
Jan Rodricks just gets into the back of Scott Sullivan, sends him around, lets him keep the position as he should. Gentleman's racing right there.
Matt Melanson is ahead of Ryan Brown, actually, as it stands. Oh no! Both of them ran deep, but unfortunately Jan running a little bit deeper. Let's see, we are going to catch the tail end. Oh, we just missed the overtake between Matt Melanson and Ryan Brown. Matt Melanson gets by the Camaro into the same corner that we saw that contact happen in and on the same lap. Okay, Steven, you were right. Jaya Surya.
Jaya Surya. Okay.
Where is that
we
from?
Now have this as
no!
Oh no!
Alan, I think, lost the back end on his own there, and that kind of went into the side of the other Porsche. We'll go back and watch that again, though.
Yeah,
but
Zane Blisket capitalizing on that, gaining the position, is now on the back bumper of DeSoto.
Oh, interesting. There was contact that led into that. I'm not sure if that was Alan's fault or not, though. Because it looked like there was room. I think he maybe turned in a little bit too much. Leave that one, though, to the lack there of stewards. I think that'll be a discussion for after the race, because this is an unstewarded race.
Yes. And Zane Blisket right now, keeping it. Oh, no. He's been keeping his nose clean this entire race. I'm not seeing any damage on that Janetta, and is moved all the way up to P14. He is currently up 8 positions. And for right now, our biggest winner on positions gained is Jaeger Karu. No.
Wow, Raleigh Duche just taking too much curb on the inside and clobbers the pit wall. Raleigh. Oh my goodness.
He's got a lot of damage to the front of that Mercedes. It is no longer showroom ready.
No, it most certainly is not. I don't think they tested that one in the wind tunnel. Oh, no, that is really unfortunate.
But as we're finishing up this race, Jaeger Karu is our big winner on positions gained, a total of 15 positions. And unfortunately, our biggest loser is Marcos Gonzalez, as he's coming around some of the final turns.
Oh, speaking of final turns, Pablo Navarrete to the line, finishes in first position. The Argentinian driver in the just driving number 14 takes P1 tonight, with Eduardo Leighton 5 seconds behind in the also just driving the sister cars P1 and P2. Nicely done for the two, and a nice flourish at the end as well. Caio Jr.
Tried pulling an Ali Raza there?
He did a little bit, yes. Caio Jr. is going to be in P3. The Brazilian driver taking home a podium tonight in the first race. Of course, this is the rookie race, first one of 2. We have the GT4 Open coming up right after this.
Yep. And Potts Weaver gains another position on Tonkin coming into the NGK chicane, and then just parks it right on the line as they come around the final curve. And across the line, Potts Weaver beats out Tonkin for that P11 position.
We're just getting a little replay of that, and wow, what a send. Potts Weaver, a new form of confidence tonight. And as a result, P11, nicely done for the number 13 Big Wins JG Wentworth car, which unfortunately we didn't have time to really get a good livery inspection on any car tonight, as, well, it's been nothing but pure action, Steven.
Pure action and truck problems, but we've made it through this race. It was a great race, a lot of bumping and banging. There's a lot more incidents this race, and I'm very surprised. Maybe that's a little bit of commentators cursed by me coming into this race.
Whoa! Come on, camera. What? That was terrible camera work. We're going to have to get a replay on that as the AMG is rejoining the track way too hot. That... Oh, no. No. That's just a pure display of aggression. We hate Seth, buddy. You know better than that, Seth. As that was a bit rude, I will admit, but that doesn't justify the rejoin by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah. Well, race 1 finish. Pablo Navarrete takes the win. Eduardo Leighton in P2. Caio Jr. in 3rd. We'll see if we can get an interview from those 3 drivers. While we're waiting, we'll get a replay up in the background and head back into the booth as we head on over. And welcome back to the booth, everybody. Like I said, we'll get some replays up of that race while we wait for our top 3 to come in. Hopefully we can get Pablo Navarrete, Eduardo Leighton, and Caio Jr. in. 3 drivers I'm not sure that we have seen in the interview room before, so let's hope we can land them tonight. Is this... What is today? 13th? 1 minute of highlight? That doesn't seem right. Oh, of course it's not right, because my session glitched, huh? That's all right. Welcome, Lion. Is it Lion? Leone Taboo? Leone Taboo? Leone? Oh my goodness, that is such... I need capitals in that letter. That name is hard. Welcome, as well as Slez. Welcome. P27 to P17. Nice debut indeed. So I'm assuming then you were... Oh, Jayasuriya. Jayasuriya. Is that how we say it correctly? If that is you, I'm assuming.
Jayasuriya.
But yeah, absolutely not a bad debut. And Karu also putting on a good result as well. We did see that in the middle there, Karu. You managed to put on a nice one. You taking a look at the interview room. Not seeing anyone, unfortunately. But I am seeing the driver's briefing. So in that case, we got plenty of time. Yes, that is correct. Raleigh. Oh, no. That was tragic. That was absolutely tragic. We unfortunately caught that one live on stream. Not live. We caught the replay on stream. And I don't really know what to say about it because that was a... Yeah, you hit the wall pretty hard on that one.
You centered just a little too hard there, bud.
Yes. And since we are, I'm assuming, not going to have any interviews, hopefully if anyone can get in touch with Pablo Navarrete, Eduardo Leighton, or Caio Jr., I would really appreciate that. Get them into the green room. But as it stands, I'm not seeing them. And we will move on to our intermission, of course. Our intermission, don't go anywhere for that because you guys are going to be involved in that. So let's, while we pull that up. Mel Citronex got taken out and went into P23 and made it up to P7. Yes, nicely done. Mel is being Matt Melanson. Matt, we had some cheers for you in chat as well.
I still can't believe yesterday I get beat out by a car that flew through the air.
Did you get did you catch the replay of that one, Steven?
I did catch the replay of that one.
That was
where he just
pretty
sent
incredible.
It. Beat me out by 1,000th of a second.
Yep, putting the new definition to overtake. I'm going to hydrate from Cody Blanton. Why not? Well, we are ready to go when it comes to Stream Racer, so let's head on over to that session. Back into Stream Racer here. We are going to need exclamation mark race in chat, everybody, as Steven is going to be the first one in. I am second. Hashtag streamer privileges. Exclamation mark race, everybody, to get involved. Uh-oh, we have Ollie Raza in here, so let's watch out. Now is your chance to beat Ollie Raza, everybody. Now remember, when we are in this session, exclamation mark boost will give you a nice little send-along, but you got to use them strategically, of course, because it can send you right into a wall, as Steven Tomazic knows all too well.
Yeah, I sent myself into the lake last night, and unfortunately... and then what is it? The race before that, I sent myself flying into the stratosphere.
Yes, yeah, you did. We also have our previous champion, King Donut, in here. King Donut taking the race win last night here in Stream Racer. How is Nightbot involved in this? I don't understand. How did Nightbot get... Is it because they typed race? You don't need exclamation mark, you just need to type race? Is that what it is? Regardless, everybody, you have 1 minute, one whole minute to sign up. Not sign up, just type exclamation mark race. That's all you have to do. And you'll be signed up. But remember, exclamation mark boost in there as well once we are in the session. I see we got Ollie Raza, King Donut, Raleigh Duce. We got Rick Wolf, we have Slez, we have Roofless, we have Karu. Nightbot somehow is in this race. I have no idea how Nightbot managed it. The AI is taking over everybody. That's all I can say. Doc Milwee going to be joining us, and Zane Blisket, exclamation mark race. Let's get a few more in here, guys. Come on, guys and gals. Lizzie joining us. Yes, let's go. Lizzie getting involved as well. Now is your chance to beat Ollie Raza. Roofless saying boost is bad. Well, you tell that to our previous champion, King Donut, who had a very strategic boost to take the win last night. So it's all about time and place. But let's get into this. Now, for anyone wondering what the heck is about to happen, buckle up your seatbelts, everyone, because it's about to get intense. We have, starting now in this session, we can see the Doge and the Mona Lisas on the side. Karu starting in pole position, and Steven off with an amazing start and an immediate boost. The cheeky boost at the start. We can see the gaggle of cars coming up down the straight. Now, Steven is off the course, though.
Missed the boost, track.
Looks like the incline maybe a little bit too much for the speed for Steven. Doc Milwee so far taking the lead, but nice from Roofless. Roofless saying that boosts are useless. Maybe a true statement. Gets righted by Doc Milwee. Okay, Doc Milwee, that is how little cars are made, everybody. Zane Blisket, gonna be on the straight now, gonna be joining the track in first position, but we can see the chaos behind Ollie Raza sending it back onto the track. Now, if that's not an unsafe rejoin, I don't know what is. Nightbot somehow in P3 here, doing an excellent job. He won't be using, or they won't be using exclamation mark boost. Oh, Blisket is off. Oh my goodness, what is Karu has just pile drived Roofless and Nightbot and King Donut all off the track. Doc Milwee is speeding into the victory or the lead here as he comes down through the left-hander, the banked left-hander now to the incline. We're gonna go on board with Doc Milwee. This is first-person perspective as he comes over the crest now. Very exciting spectacles as we drive in a straight line. Now to the right-hander. Gonna be looking for that apex. You can see the cone, taking the cone with us. That's a trademark Doc Milwee right there, as he likes to help others win, and he prioritizes the cone. Ollie has sent himself off into the stratosphere and is drifting like he was last night over the finish line. Let's see if he can rejoin in a decent spot. Looks like he is going to force respawn. Doc Milwee, still the generous man that he is, bringing the cone with him. Blisket, though, has taken a commanding lead. Look at this. Everybody is way far behind, but there's a massive battle. Steven Tomazic clips Karu, sends him around. He's going to need to trade some license and insurance for there. So does Roofless. Karu getting battered every which way. Lizzie, side by side with Steven. Oh, he's pit maneuvering Steven. Steven, you got to leave space, man. Gets spun out as a result. I don't know who came in first. Zane Blisket maybe did. I don't think, did Zane Blisket? Anyways, Zane Blisket, yes, in first. Nightbot has somehow come in second. I don't know how Nightbot is even in this race. But second place for the robot. Ollie Raza takes third, a nice podium with the previous champion King Donut coming in fourth. Doc Milwee is holding everybody up, but he is such a generous lad. He brings the cone home for P5. Doc Milwee takes an honorable P6 as a result, but P5 in the standings, as you can see. I'm at the back of the grid here, because why not? Am I going to overtake Steven? Am I going to overtake Steven? Yes, I am! Steven Tomazic gets overtaken at the very end. Let's go. Zane Blisket takes the win. Nightbot in second. Ollie Raza in third. King Donut bringing up fourth. Doc Milwee Doc Milwee in 5th. The cone is in 5th, my apologies. But Doc Milwee taking the cone's position after a DNF. The cone unfortunately did not complete enough of the track to have a valid time. Slez in P6, Lizzie in P7, Raleigh Duce in 8th, Roofless in 9th, and rounding out our top 10 there is Karu. Oh, and Karu, coughing up a storm from that crash. You may need to get your lungs checked. Hopefully you don't have a burst lung after getting T-boned at that rate of knots. That definitely will leave a mark. But while we leave that up and head on into the open server, they should be in qualifying. Steven's dying, it sounds like.
I am. I just took the steering wheel out of my sim rig, and I'm about to go throw it in the trash because that was a horrible performance by me.
Yeah,
And
Steven, P last.
Ugh.
You know, I got to say, that definitely was not quite where we expect you in terms of your numbers down in P13. Lucky number 13 for you. Why don't we pop back into the booth and see your, well, unfortunately not live reaction, but your post reaction to what has, unfolded tonight, as you can see. Devastation is the words that I would use for that. But that is how it goes, you know. Stream Racer giveth and Stream Racer taketh away. And, well, that's how we go. Lizzie beat me. Roofless, come on. You got to get those better at those boosts. You ended up taking out like a bunch of people. That's not ideal. Oh, man. I love that game. That game's fun. I hope you guys enjoyed as well. Let me know in chat if you guys enjoy that. Not rigged? It isn't rigged, though. And literally, it can't be rigged. And, well, Nightbot somehow took P2. I don't really know on that one.
Yeah, I don't even understand how he got in.
I don't either, to be honest. Nightbot is sneaky, though.
All right, so looks like we're still in practice right now, but we have a lot of big names in this race tonight.
Yeah, we do. In fact, currently our P1, Kevin Rivera with Darren Thomas in P2. Now, I don't know if that's going to stand into the qualifying session, but I certainly hope it does. As we also can see, well, not really see. We're still in the booth, of course, so we'll pop into the session a little bit later. How many times can you boost in a race? I don't know. Unlimited? Oh.
That is not very recommended practice because it could send you off into the stratosphere. And
as we saw earlier, not just you. It could send an entire group of cars off in a bowling ball manner.
Off into the lake, and nobody wants to go swimming.
You know who is going to be going swimming tonight, though, Steven?
Our racers.
Yes, indeed. As it looks like in this free practice session, at least, it's going to be a wet free practice. We'll see if those conditions transfer over. King Donut, I Am Speed, you weren't even on the podium. You can be the fastest car on track, but you got to make it to the line. 34 drivers in the session tonight. Why don't we have a little bit of word here of what we have coming up in Trackalicious while we wait to head on into the session. And of course, we have our GT3 Championship. We'll start off there. That's going to be our main event that we offer on Sundays, of course. We were just at the Nürburgring yesterday. Next week, we're going to be at the Hungaroring. Also, our Porsche Cup Championship. Now, all of these events can be found on SimGrid, in case anyone is curious. Chat there in... Oh, Nightbot had already posted. Well, anyways... Nightbot was already ahead of me, but link in chat right there. You can also type the respective exclamation mark GT3, P-Cup, and rookies respectively to find the links directly to those championships. Also, Maserati Madness in November 27th, 30-45 doubleheader at Kyalami. That is going to be fun. All Maseratis all the time. I can't wait. We also have our Winter Series starting up soon. As I said, with the P-Cups, we have our Rookie Series, which you just watched. Rookie Series providing some extremely good content tonight with a bit of bumping and banging throughout the session, I will say. Maybe a little bit too much. Nonetheless, we move on into our Open Series, which you're watching now. Big thanks to all our patrons. We'll move on to that in a minute. Currently, though, at Nürburgring, next week will be... Not next week, excuse me. The week after, of course, next week being Thanksgiving. The week after will be Brands Hatch, and we will see that on the 27th. We have our M2 reverse grid, which is coming to an end tomorrow. And the GT3 reverse grid starting up on November 16th for 2 20-minute doubleheaders. And also back to our Patreon championship. Of course, there are other... Whoops, that's the wrong slide. We have the Patreon supporters, which you guys can see all of their names. Thank you so much to all of our Patreon supporters, including Jose Guzman, which his name is spelled incorrectly, but hey, that's beside the point. Big thank you to all our V12 exotics especially, and also thanks to our V8 muscles and V4 import, which still it's not a V4, it's an inline 4. Eric has messed up his own stuff. Like I say, this is what you get when Eric provides the graphics, everyone. But as we have it, we're going to head back into the booth before we move on into the session, of course, and the qualifying just going to be starting up as we can hear the race director giving the green light. The drivers will have 1 minute for setup changes before they can head out onto track. And in that 1 minute, we're going to use that to talk about our Syntho drive. That's what it's called. I've totally forgot. It's an AI-generated name, in case anyone didn't know. Syntho. You can find a link to our rules and our sign-up page there in chat. But what is Syntho drive? Well, what it is basically it's sort of marbles on stream, but a little bit of AI manager combined as well, where you kind of get to pick a F1 team, you get to manage it, you get to do the developments yourself, or you can have it done purely by dice rolls. There's also a little bit of cheating involved, so who doesn't like a good little bit of cheating that is allowed? And yeah, it's just a super fun championship, a little trial run here at TRACKILICIOUS. I'd love if you guys got involved. It's going to be streamed on Wednesdays, really just more of a chill stream where we're going to see Josie and I kind of just hanging out, talking about these drivers and talking about numbers. So it's going to be more of a nerdy sort of deal. It's kind of D&D and D&D and racing, I guess is a better way of putting it, where it's a lot of dice rolling and a lot of, well, just watching AIs drive around a circuit. You don't have to do any of the work yourself. So all of it is done for you. But on that,
it actually sounds pretty interesting, and I really want to see how it plays out before I start playing it, but it really does have that D&D-esque vibe to it.
Steven, I think you should sign up first. I think you're going to enjoy it in particular because you don't need to manage your car every week. You can have a predetermined upgrade package. You can do the upgrades micromanaged every week, or you can do nothing and let the dice do it yourself and just have your name be thrown into the bucket. And then you can start doing that stuff a little bit later. So if you want to just sign up, see how it is, have your name in there. We're going to be talking about you, talk a little smack. You can see your AI car going around this track and making an absolute fool of itself, as AIs do.
I'm sure I would get myself fired within the first 2 races.
Well, we do encourage people to try to play the system so we can kind of, work on those rules. But also, yes, Neo Kabuki, SM season, a season master instead of a dungeon master. Yes, I like that, Neo. I like that. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, so if you are into that sort of thing, the more nerdy side, technical side of things, then that is definitely the place for you. The Syntho Drive Championship, all AIs. I mean, yeah, it's fun. It's just a good time. Like I say, super chill, super casual stream. It's not going to be anything intense, not like anything, especially on these races. So definitely look forward to that in the coming future. But let's head on into the session, Steven.
Yeah, as we're now starting to see the drivers coming around the final couple turns to start their laps. And let's see, which driver is it going to be first to come across the line? It is Ilipo Ratsalina is going to start us. Wait, no?
No, it's Tony Danzig.
Tony Danzig, bring us on to start.
Well, that's going to be Tony Danzig's lap, done and dusted in the first corner. Ilipo did manage to negotiate the first corner. These wet conditions already getting the best of drivers. We'll hop on board now with Ilipo as he can hear that V8 rumbling through the, wet arena sector now. Wow, lots of rain on that track and very little grip.
Yeah, as he's coming out of the Mercedes arena, coming down, heading towards Valvoline Curve. You gotta be really careful here, and right after that, you're coming straight into Ford's Curve. Ford's Curve can get you off if you're in the wrong position and will throw you off into the kitty litter as Danzig moves out of the way for Illipo. As Danzig is no longer on a valid lap, he's now coming down through the Dunlop curve. A little bit squirrely on the entry, but regains composure, keeps the lap valid as he's coming now up into the Schumacher S's. Looks like he had a pretty good line coming through the Schumacher. Now now he's coming into Michelin Curve. Michelin Curve is another turn where if you don't take it right, it will send you right off into the tracking limits and they will invalidate your lap as we're now going through the Warsteiner curve and now onto the not so straight Ad van Bogen, as it is actually called. Getting all the speed that you can and then braking hard, coming into the NGK chicane, coming around the Coca-Cola curve onto the front straight, and that is a completed lap by Illipo Rautsalainen to take that provisional pole position.
2:11 as he comes to the line. Behind him is Professor Chronotis, just about a 10th off the mark. That is a nice lap from Chronotis. I think Illipo has some time on the table, especially after that turn 1. In fact, already gaining 2/10. Yeah, he had a bit of a mare in the turn 1, I will say. But as this session goes on and on, of course, we will see more rubber being laid down. And the weather is actually going to be letting up just slightly in this session. Wow, Chronotis, big tank slapper, sends him off into the barrier as well. Got Justin Beachley in his cat-inspired livery. It is his cat, by the way. I just want to clarify, not just a cat-inspired. It is his cat-inspired livery. Justin, I really wish you had put, if you are watching this VOD back, I wish you'd put your name of your cat as the team name or on there somewhere so I know what your cat's name is. And that Beach GT logo does not look good on that car. No offense, Beachley. It's a lovely logo and it's a lovely livery, but that neon green does not work.
Yeah, it kind of upsets the balance of the car.
Snoopy, I have no clue where to start my pressures. This should be fun. That is why we are up here in the booth and you are down on the track. I can't help you with that one, sir. Best of luck as well.
Yes, best of luck, especially in these conditions. Thankfully, the weather held off last night for the GT3s, but is unfortunately drenching the track right now for these GT4s.
Oh, Illipo with a big handful of opposite lock through the NGK chicane into the Coca-Cola curve is going to be up a good margin on his times currently. Pole position held by Thanasis Liakos. Thanasis actually took the rookie win last time around. I think that was a bit of a mistake. We didn't see them in the rookie race this time, I think for a reason. Illipo, though, to the line, does improve 0.8, but no position improvement.
And Zane Blisket came across the line and improving on his time up into the provisional P7 spot.
Illipo ruthlessly took out that Bullard. We caught it on stream.
That murderer.
Hashtag Bullard Lives Matter, everyone. Also, Kevin Rivera in chat. Welcome, Kevin. Should you be out on track? Or not yet? Not yet.
Nope, it's the even numbers are out first right now. Let's see, let's go through the list of who's out on track. We got a big improvement coming from Mr. Stinky Cheese Man, Jason Provolone.
Where did he just jump to? Oh, he doesn't come across the line yet.
He's currently P14, but he is up almost a second on his delta as he's now coming down into the Dunlop hairpin.
Still has like half the track to go. And up a second already. There's plenty of time to gain, but also plenty of time to lose. So we can drop this in a matter of seconds, especially in Sector 3. You can see milking the cow through the Schumacher S. really seesawing at the wheel, trying to keep that car under control, and unfortunately, he invalidates that lap. As I said, there's a 1 second improvement gone in the blink of an eye.
Yep, just that little bit can send you right off. We have Casey Schutte looking to improve as well. He's currently sitting in that P2 position, rather comfortably ahead of Tony Danzig. But Danzig, I think, has one more attempt as he just goes green and then back into the red on this current lap that he's on.
Casey looking really strong in the wet, I'd got to say. Casey, typically a P6 driver. That's where I would put him about 100% of the time. At least if I was to score where he is. I'm obviously kidding for anyone just joining. He is essentially cursed to P6 for some reason, Casey Schutte. But tonight, he's in P2. We'll see if that race change, or if the race actually changes anything. Stephen, do you want to explain the race format that we have ahead of us?
Yeah, so currently the race format ahead of us today is a 20-minute quali, which is what we're in right now, and a 40-minute sprint race with a 1 mandatory pit stop with a fixed refueling time of 25 seconds. Tires are optional, and if you do take that lovely spin around the track, you might be thinking about changing those tires. That will unfortunately add 5 more seconds onto your lap. And there is no pit window, so pit whenever you want. You could pit on the last lap, you could pit on the first lap, but make sure that you hit that pit stop.
Make sure you practice your pit stop, everyone. I know it's a little bit too late, but just the PSA, your Mike Nause PSA of the day, make sure you practice your pit entries, everyone. Like I say, if I say it enough, maybe, eventually, somebody will actually do it.
And your Steven Tomazic PSA is make sure you put gas in that car.
Yeah, making it to the checkered flag typically helps with a decent race result. Let's take a look here. Oops, what have I just hit? No.
Oh no.
What did I just hit? Do I want to turn on carrot browsing? No, I don't want to turn on carrot browsing. Internet, what are you doing? Okay, regardless. Let's take a look at Casey Schutte's livery. That's what I wanted to do. I want to know what it says on the front. Oh, but it's backwards. Lindauer, what were you thinking when you made this livery? Oh, Casey, no!
Ah.
Okay, well, that is, I don't know what it says, because it's backwards, and I don't have, well, anyways.
It's a long way to the top, is what it says.
Oh. Well, it's a long way to the bottom for Casey Schutte currently, so that's a good sign at least. Hey, Zane Blisket practicing his pit entry. Look at that. No, wait, he's coming out, isn't he? No, he's practicing pit entry. Let's go. Zane Blisket, round of applause, practicing his pit entries and even his pit full entry. That is over the top, to be honest. But hey, I love it. That is exactly what you want to see. And look at that. We got more drivers practicing the pit. Let's go. John Hawley, what an amateur. Look at that, parking on the side of the pit lane.
Oh, and Professor Kernotis practicing his pit entry. He might need a little bit more practice than that, but ooh, he came in flying, almost missed the entry and hit the wall.
Oops. The entry is actually, so for anyone wondering, as it is a bit of an awkward pit entry here at the Nürburgring because it is such a long run down. This entire run is good. This is the line that you hit your pit board at. So you have all of this to accelerate at full, and then you're looking to make a break around this area, but of course in the wet that might change. So that's why you practice your pit entry, everyone, is so you can find that little sweet spot.
And make sure you find your pit crew waving that flag in front of you so you know exactly where to make your stop.
Okay, don't overshoot your box and have to back into it like a fool. Nobody likes that.
done that a couple times too.
I'm guilty of it myself, so it's I think that's one of those ones that everyone's done, but you feel like a fool when you do it.
Yes.
And Lizzie showing some Puerto Rican support for Kevin Rivera. I can't tell, is that Kevin struggling or is that a little bit of lag? I think we're seeing maybe a little bit of lack there of grip for this Alpine. The Alpine I would predict to be one of the best cars out there on the grid tonight. But as we see, accelerating now into the Michelin curve, with Vorsteiner right after it, of course, as you can get, as Steven was saying, it's so easy to invalidate there. It really is, but it's not the reason you would expect. It's not because you're going to run too deep. It's at the top of that little hill. Your car is going to be transferring the weight. You're cresting at the peak of a hill, so all of your weight is moving. I don't know how to, I'm not a physicist, so don't quote me on this. But it's super, the car is very light when you reach that point. And if you put too much steering input in, you can basically just send your car spinning around in a circle.
And you don't want to be sending your car off into the shadow realm. As we now have Kevin Rivera coming around the final corner to finish off his lap. Let's see where he lands.
Ooh.
P2, about half a second behind Lycos, though.
22 thousandths away from Casey. No, 17, something around there. 20 thousandths away.
But Ricardo Rivera, no relation to Kevin Rivera, takes away that P2 position from Kevin and is only 0.06 of a second behind Lycos and is still improving and still has a lot of time to improve on that lap time.
I think we have a Puerto Rican fight here tonight. We are going to see the two Riveras duking it out and see who can take that pole position. As it stands, Ricardo looking strong, but Kevin, never count him out. He's on an invalid lap, actually, and is going to return to the pits and invalidate that one. We also are seeing Ricardo carry on as he passed his fellow compatriot there. Neil Kerbal also up on his lap in the Kerbal race program. Hopefully not going to be taking the Kerbal space program anytime soon. Coming now into the Dunlop. He will be the next driver actually to complete a lap. So why don't we hop on board with him. 395. Heading up the hill of the Schumacher S's. The rain has almost gone completely away. So we are going to be seeing these drivers that are out in the second session get a big advantage to the drivers out in the first. And now that is sort of just the way qualifying goes sometimes, the way the cookie crumbles. I know some people don't find that fully fair, but hey, it can go either way. So I say, whoa. I say we keep an eye here on Neil Kerbal's lap because he is struggling. Now through the not so straight Ad Van Bogen into the NGK chicane, looking for the brake marker around the 50. You had to go a little early in these conditions. Big slip of the rear end. Gets it under control though, fighting the car to get it on exit. Gets the power down nicely, down into first gear for the final corner, interestingly. And on the throttle again, Neil Kerbal, I think, lost a lot of time in that final corner to the line. It is going to be no improvement. But Ricardo Rivera goes to pole position with a 4/10 improvement. Nicely done over Thanasis Liakos, dropped down into P2.
Yeah, I think these conditions are really favoring the second set of drivers coming out on track, as we're seeing Milos Tansky greatly improving all the way up to P19. He was 1 second up on his last lap time delta.
Milos Tansky.
So,
good, sir.
I'm thinking these track conditions are starting to really improve, and a dry line is really starting to form and is allowing these drivers to really put down the power.
I also want to say Milos Tansky is a driver that we've seen improve quite a bit in these recent seasons. I think he was at one point a rookie league driver, maybe a white plate if I'm not mistaken, but still has improved quite a bit on his times. It seems though the wet conditions maybe not favoring him tonight. A lot of the drivers, obviously, well, this separates some drivers apart. The wet conditions are tough, you know, and they really can affect certain drivers' driving styles and don't work with them. And some drivers just really can't get a handful. We see Scott Sullivan significantly out of position currently. In fact, without a lap on the board and struggling to even get one You know, Scott Sullivan, somebody you would expect to be fighting up much higher than he is currently in P30.
Yeah, and right now the rain has stopped and we have 1:50 seconds left, so any lap times dropped right now is going to be massive improvements as the dry line really starts to form under these cars.
Jacob Church almost drops his car there on the, I think that was through, now coming through the Dunlop hairpin. You can see, yeah, it's so dry out there, and Jacob is up 1 second on his time. The question is, do they have their pressures right? Are their tires going to be heating up now too much, and are they driving on balloons? That could be very possible. Hopefully they managed to get that right in the pits, and my goodness, as that was Jeff Dallas forgetting that there was a turn in the turn. It looked like that was a head-on into the barrier.
You definitely don't want to have that date with Mr. Barrier tonight. It's just going to end really badly.
Yeah, these slipping and sliding conditions are the easiest as well to end up in that position. We're following here Jacob Church, who is 9/10 up with their Delta, coming now into the final few corners. The one corner left, the Coca-Cola curve, very deep into it. And you can hear that Camaro struggling to lay that power down. The V8 engine spinning those wheels until just they can get that grip down, and Jacob Church comes across the line with a 1 second improvement, up 2 positions into P24. Has one more lap to go, though, as do a lot of these drivers. I think, though, we will start to see, of course, when that checkered flag falls, any driver to cross the line will no longer be able to start one. Any driver that has already crossed it will be able to finish it. However, they need to keep it valid.
Yeah, as we have Potts Weaver now 1.5 seconds up and increasing on that Delta as he's just went through the Schumacher S's and is now coming up into Michelin. Still improving. He's now 2 seconds up on his Delta, coming into the not so straight.
Heading up towards the NGK. One chicane and one corner left. And the big wins, JG Wentworth, 877 cash now, in case anyone's curious. Into the final chicane. One more corner to negotiate, and it is a smashing time so far for Potts Weaver. He's in P last on the boards in P28. Now to the line. What's it going to be? Is going to improve 3 seconds up to P24. Wow. All right. I was expecting a bit more than that. Kind of hyped that one up a bit too much, but hey.
All right. So we got Darren Thomas also increasing, and Miles Sewell is on a little bit of a heater too as he comes around the final curve coming and moves all the way up to P3.
Nicely done from Miles. Quite the lap. Darren Thomas, I think not next across the line, excuse me. That will be Randy Gross. But he was on slicks. Oh, so he went on to slicks a little too early. That explains the pace then from Scott Sullivan, not able to even set a lap tonight. So very out of position. Devin Smallblock Anthony, Brandon Mellenbacher, Gage Gonzalez, Raleigh Duche, Scott Sullivan, Yeager Karu, all not able to set a lap tonight. Randy Gross the line in P23. Darren Thomas in P12 goes to P6.
P6. Wow.
Nicely done from the Shelby Janetta. Now, I never thought I would say that before.
And it's back to raining.
And it's going to be wet for at least 30 minutes.
Yeah, we got some heavy rain followed by some medium rain. Up, the weather has just changed again, so we're going to have moderate, medium to light rain in the next 10 minutes. And then rain, it looks like it's stopping at 30.
We will see how that plays out for these drivers. Are they going on wet tires? Well, I presume so, yes. I think we are going to see all drivers taking wet tires here at the start. However, we need to get in and meet our drivers. We've got 34 of them on the grid tonight. And as we have it here, starting in P1, It is going to be the Puerto Rican driver, the Superior Rivera tonight, of Ricardo Rivera. Up next is going to be Thanasis Leacos in P2, the number 26 Noobs R Us driver, Miles Sewell in P3, the 503 AMG GWP Simracing. And next to him, Kevin Rivera, who unfortunately didn't quite get his dries on in time, and as a result is going to be in P4, the 419 Noobs R Us car, with Casey Schutte going to be next to him in P5, the 444 Reckless GT4, the ACDC, as well Darren Thomas in P6, the 613 Shelby GT350 in P6. Tony Danzig, 7th quickest in the 132 with Neil Kerbal Company in P8, the 395. Ilipo Rautsulainen, the Finnish driver, going to be coming up in 9th position with Aaron Miller in P10. And rounding out our top 10. Oh my goodness. It's happened immediately. This is amazing. Thank you so much. We'll get to that in a second. John Hawley, the 410 in P11 with Professor Kanota's Company in P12. Zane Bliskett, 13th quickest, the number 64 Janetta Mad Fox Racing. Casey Swanseeger in P14, the Noobs R Us Halloween livery. Come on, it's not Halloween anymore, Casey. Zuko Vinod in P15, the 626 Audi, with Jason Provolone Company in row 8 on P16, the number 82. It ain't easy being cheesy, and it most certainly is not. George Elmer, 17th quickest in the Sim Nut Racing with Justin Beachley in P18 in his cat-inspired livery. Scott Sullivan, 19th quickest without a time on the board, actually. Or no, he did get, excuse me, Scott did get a time on the board. What? Anyways, who's I talking about? Anyways, Milos Tansky going to be 20th quickest with Reggie King in 21st. Kevin Johnson, 22nd in the number 24 car, and Alex Freeman in 23rd. Randy Gross going to be 24th quickest with Andre Alex Afonso in P25, Potts Weaver Company in 26th. Adam King, 27th quickest in the AKR. Jacob Church in the 1 Bigley in the 253 in P28. Jeff Dallas, 29th quickest with Jaeger Karu in P30. Riley Duche in P31. Brandon Mellenbacher in P32, Devin Anthony 33rd, and Gage Gonzalez in the Earnhardt Tribute livery in last but not least P34. Cars are going to be underway tonight, and big thank you to 1 Bigley for another $5 donation. Thank you so much, Jacob. Absolutely incredible.
They're doing it for Dale. Gage Gonzalez doing it for Dale.
I love it. Let's get some hype in the chat, everybody. Let's get some hype going on for the main event race tonight. Of course, our GT4 Open Series. Massive thank you to our patrons as well. I'll pop up their names here in chat real quick, or just on screen. You can see all of the amazing patrons. A lot of these drivers are going to be out there tonight. Just leave it up for a second. And back to the action. Of course, we have our 3.1 mile outlap here at the Nürburgring with 15 corners, 6 to the left, 9 to the right. Also, thank you for Moonface Killa. Thank you for the 69 bits and dropping some energy as well. Let's go. Like I say, guys, let's get some hype in chat and get ready for this race tonight. And Helmetron, not too thrilled with Kronotis and wanting Provolone to win. Yeah, let's go. I'll be cheering for all the drivers here tonight. Wet Socks, of course, going to be an avid Provolone fan as well. So I think we'll agree with Helmetron in that regard. And, oh, Sharpenberry with your hydrates. Excuse me, I missed those. I was right before the rundown. Thank you.
Yes. They're trying to drown us in this rain.
And Sharpenberry, Vamonos, Ricardo. Oh, wait, Ricardo. Which Rivera? Vamonos, Rivera. Both Riveras, I'm assuming.
Yep.
So is Vamonos, is that Spanish, and then Vamos is Portuguese? Is that how that works?
I think so. But we're now on to the Advenbogen not so straight. We're getting ready to start lining up these cars.
Yes, we are, and of course, last round, we have Reggie King coming off of a race win for the AM class in terms of the pros. We had Ricardo Rivera taking the win last time around in the Alpine, Neil Kerbel in P2, and Ilipo in P3. So those drivers a little out of position here tonight. Ricardo Rivera, though, in P2. We'll see how he can manage. Oh, okay. Live Solus, thank you very much for that little brief explanation. That makes sense. Well, here we go. As we come to the final corner, TRACKILICIOUS in P1, Ricardo Rivera in P2. I'm Mike Nause in the booth. Joined with me is Steven Tomazic as we get ready to go green here tonight for the main event. We are green, green, green. The flags are waving now, heading down to the first quarter. It's going to be a dead even start for TRACKILICIOUS and Ricardo up at the front. We're going to even go 3 wide behind potentially here, under braking. We'll see how everything goes now. Big send from Miles Sewell into the 3 wide. That's going to be some bumping and banging going on. Miles Sewell is going to take the advantage over, I think that was Kevin Rivera. Kevin Rivera getting forced wide side by side with his teammate Tony Danzig in the sister Noobs R Us. TRACKILICIOUS walking away with the lead for right now. Ricardo Rivera behind, some bumping and banging between the 2 teammates. Rule number 1 of racing is don't hit your teammates. And we see Tony Danzig making a little bit of a brush with Kevin Rivera. Casey Schutte behind is going to be on that tail. So far, though, Steven, it seems that we are green, 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 and clean here on lap 1.
Yeah, green, 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 and clean. As we're now heading down into Valvoline and Ford's curve. Everybody's still holding their positions. A lot of movement as we're going too wide into some of these corners, but yeah, we're still green, and we are rolling on this race.
All 34
as Miles
drivers.
Sewell is attacking Rivera right now in the front of this pack.
And all 34 drivers managing to survive the carnage here on the first few corners. Not the end of lap 1 just yet, but as Steve was saying there, Kevin Rivera pressuring Miles Sewell, about half a second between them. We'll see if they make any moves on lap 1. I'd be surprised. But Miles Sewell is getting eager. Ricardo Rivera going to feel the pressure early on. I feel like, though, these drivers just need to work together and deal with each other a little bit later. Zuka Vinar is off.
Yep, and we have our first casualty. Vinar, oh, gets clobbered.
Uh-oh. Was it a poor
Somebody
rejoin?
went a little bit wide and unfortunately clobbered Vinar. Coming out of Michelin Curve.
So this is the worst sight as a driver for anyone curious, but yeah, we can see. Oh no, there it is. Oh, the Camaro. Nothing Zuka did wrong there. He did everything. I mean, it is what it is.
Looks like we're getting a Portuguese lesson in chat right now.
No, we're not. We're getting a Spanish lesson, Steven.
Spanish. Okay. I don't know I don't know the difference as we see Kevin Rivera, Tony Danzig coming together once again. It looked like.
Yeah, definitely no love lost between those 2 drivers. Hopefully they can manage to keep it together from here on. And is the Lexus GT4 on ACC? Unfortunately not, as I would love to see a Lexus out there tonight.
Yeah, so Miles Sewell is really taking the reins of this P3 position and is holding off Kevin Rivera and Tony Danzig. Casey Schutte, once again in P6, trying to attack Tony Danzig. He's right there on the bumper, but unfortunately is just not able to get the nose in there as Danzig cuts right in front of him.
Tony doing everything he needs to right now. Casey in P6 is going to be on the charge. Let's see. It's a long way to the top. And we'll see if he can manage that today. Of course, Casey started up much higher, actually in P5, so not much higher, just 1 position higher. He's trying to get that back.
Zane Beliska is attacking Casey Swanseger for that red plate P1 position. Coming together, coming out of the Michelin S's. or the Schumacher S's, and somehow Casey Swanseger was able to keep the car going in the right direction.
Oh, some side-by-side action from Chronotis and Darren Thomas. They are very close indeed there through the NGK chicane. Darren forced off into the grass. Luckily, he didn't lose the rear end. That is an easy thing to do in these conditions. Miles Sewell has an incredible run here on the Alpine of Kevin Rivera. Kevin going to have to go defensive on the inside. We see Miles taking a lunge to the out. Is he going to be able to make anything happen here? No. Into the arena sector we go. He could have a little bit of a comeback. Wow, Casey Schutte is all over Tony Danzig. Tony Danzig losing the back end as well, managing to keep the position. We'll stick, though, with this Miles Sewell battle. As they go through, you can see the standing water on track. It is most certainly wet conditions out there. The driver's not even going to be thinking about dry tires at this stage of the race.
No, they will not, and I believe we should be seeing light rain within the next couple minutes. We might start seeing that dry line start to form, and these drivers are now going to be thinking in the back of their heads, okay, how am I going to handle my pitch strategy? What lap am I coming in on? How much time after the rain stops do I wait to change out these shoes?
And I feel like we're going to see a very varied pit strategy as well, as that tends to come with these conditions. Also, Gage Gonzalez started in P last, up 14 positions in the Do It for Dale, the Earnhardt tribute livery in the Camaro. Is he about to make it a 14th? Oh, and he's getting a little bit of elbows out, doing it Dale Earnhardt style as well, is Gage Gonzalez.
Yeah, he's doing it very Intimidator-like. And he's just running through the field right now.
Also, awesome purple and pink livery from in front. That is Kevin Johnson in that AMG. Very simple, but very poppin' as well. Zane Blisket and the Mad Fox is chasing Casey Swanseger down. This is still for, as you said before there, Steven, this is the battle for the lead of the red plates. Oh!
Yeah, and
Casey's off.
whoa.
And that is going to allow Zane Blisket by with ease.
Casey with the unforced error. Looks like he just missed his brake point and just sent it right through the grass.
Yeah, it did. A little bit of pressure getting to Casey there. We're going to go side by side, Zane Blisket and Darren Thomas. Zane is immediately looking ahead and has no intention to look behind in this race. You can see, holy smokes, Darren Thomas almost had to look behind there at a closing AMG that almost went right into that rear diffuser. Luckily, Casey managed to avoid that and turn out of it last second.
Oh boy, and we have a battle for the lead right now. The Nasus Lycos has, I believe, had a little bit of an error, and Ricardo Rivera is on the bumper of that Aston Martin.
And Solus asking in chat, what do the red plates mean? Well, the red plates basically signify that they are the rookie drivers. Is that what they're calling them in this league?
That is what they're calling. They're in the ACC terms, they are considered the amateur drivers, or for us, it is rookie drivers. The white plates are denounced as our pro experienced drivers. As well as, I believe our white plates are the Patreon supporters.
No. That's not necessary, because Justin Beachley, Reggie King, Casey is not. Zane Blisket, they're all Patreon supporters.
Okay. I do know that a lot of these drivers are Patreon supporters, but most of the time white plates are denounced as our pro drivers.
And there are all of our Patreon members on screen. Big thank you to all of you, especially the V12 Exotics. Thank you so much, of course, everyone, though, for participating. Thank you, everyone, for just being here tonight and viewing the stream, hitting that follow button, and just having a nice, chill night with Steven and I here in the booth. Of course, I'm Mike Nause. Joined with me is Steven Tomazic tonight. We got 31 minutes left of this GT4 race and plenty of action ahead of us. as we are seeing this battle unfold between John Hawley, George Elmer, Aaron Miller, Milos Tansky, Kevin Johnson, Justin Beachley, Reggie King, all of those drivers involved in this little tussle.
Yeah, and Gage Gonzalez is up in there as well with that number 3 Camaro. Looking to make a move. Whoa! As the number 24 threads that needle.
Aaron Miller has been tapped around and facing the wrong way. That was a very chaotic turn 1 here. Of course, lap 4, let's take a look at what has happened. We're about to see an AMG miss their braking zone, and luckily everybody manages to thread the needle there. But that was just a classic case of 3 doesn't go into 1. And, well, unfortunately, Aaron Miller coming off the worst out of all of those drivers. In fact, Aaron, I think, the least guilty party involved as well, at least from first glance.
Yeah, just look like you said, 3 do not go into 1. And unfortunately, when you're that meat of that car sandwich, it doesn't always end up very good for you.
We are seeing Jason Provolone and Professor Kenotis go side by side. Provolone backs out very early. That was very unlike Provolone, and the Provolone fan club, quite frankly, should be up in arms at Provolone for not going for that lunge. That was on. No, I'm kidding. Discretion is the better part of valor, and Jason Provolone proving that tonight.
Yeah, I think they're going to be okay with Provolone backing out for that split second, resetting himself, thinking and trying to make a unforced error occur with Chronotis to just open up the door, as unfortunately Zane Blisket gets around Provolone.
Not yet.
No, Zane Blisket got around Provolone.
Oh my goodness, he did. Who's that behind? Oh, that's Darren Thomas behind. My apologies, it's a different Janetta. Wow. Provolone sleeping at the wheel or something there. Maybe got caught
Kevin
up.
Rivera is our first pit stop contestant.
Interesting. That's a very early stop. So an alternate strategy tonight. Well, obviously it's an early stop. The dry line's forming, so he's going to be our first driver onto dries.
He's going to be the first driver onto dries, but we still have a damp track.
Yeah,
this
I was
might be
gonna
just
say,
a little bit too early.
That's bold. That's a bold strategy call there from Kevin. We'll see if that works out, but he's going to go for it, and there's Zane Blisket, hands the position right back to Jason Provolone. He says, no, that's okay. You can have this one for now. And I'm sure Zane, he's going to want that back, but Provolone, going to be thanking him, counting his stars on that one. Kevin says, wish me luck in chat.
Kevin Rivera texting and driving from the cockpit of that car. You love it. But we do not condone texting and driving, people.
Nope.
That is very bad.
Definitely do not. And I'm not even joking about that either. That is, I definitely do not condone that. But good luck, Kev. Also, Sharpenberry, Bandale. I hate... Who's going to tell him? Who's going to tell him? I don't think Dale is bannable anymore.
Dale. There is no banning Dale. Oh, we got a battle heating up for P15. Reggie King starting to work his way up against Beachley. This is starting to warm up, where we have Reggie King in that Napa Auto Sports Mercedes going up against Justin Beachley's My Cat Mercedes.
Whoa. Sorry, I was just watching with John Hawley, and we see Casey Swanseeger and Dale Earnhardt come together. And Casey's going to come into the pits. Let's get a replay on that. That certainly looked to be the fault, at least at first glance, of the Camaro, as the Camaro was nowhere near this when it happened. And coming out of... Wow! That is...
Whoa.
Holy smokes! What?
The Intimidator is alive tonight. Wow.
That was the most Dale Earnhardt move I've ever seen, I've got to say.
As we're now starting to see more drivers come into the pits, we have Zane Blisket, Miles Sewell, Illipo Ratsalainen, Darren Thomas, Alex Freeman, Casey Schutte, Tony Danzig, Casey Swanseeger, and Jaeger Karu right now in the pits.
The
That was a
Intimidator.
long list of names.
That was a long list of names, but good job, Steven. The Intimidator here, going to be challenging Reggie King. Up next, Justin Beachley being the bottleneck here, the cork in the bottle at least. Oh, I'm really nervous with Gage, I'm going to be honest. This is every time we go under braking. Gage is kind of worrying me a little bit. Somebody needs to get on the radio with this man, put up a pit board and say, slow down, slow down. Oh my goodness, Gage, dude. Oh. Discretion is the better part of valor. I think I said that earlier.
Unfortunately, I don't think Dale knows how to turn right. He knows how to make left-handers.
That's it. You're right. Turn one is it's a right-hander. That explains everything. How could I be so dumb? That's just
as we have Ricardo Rivera now making his way into the pits. He's opting to change those tires out for the dries and is now leaving Lycos out there. He's looking for that undercut.
Yeah, I think that's going to work out for him, as we can see a full dry line at this point on the track, and if there is a dry line visible basically at all, the track is pretty much going to be ready for dry tires. So, I will say, where is Kevin?
Kevin Rivera is in P12, so ahead of Miles Sewell.
This is going to be the driver to keep an eye on, and in terms of our race leaders, where is Ricardo going to come out in relation here to Kevin? Will he come out in front? I don't know. I think they're... Okay, yes, Kevin, you're on stream, yes. Kevin is going to be, I think, making the correct strategy call tonight, and that flash of the headlights maybe was a little bit of an eager note as well, saying, yes, I did make the right call. We are going to have, where is, let's see, Ricardo Rivera coming out of the pits now, and it's going to take him a little bit to get up to speed. So looking at Kevin coming down the start-finish straight, we're going to come out not quite side by side. I think Kevin will be behind Ricardo, but not by much, as Ricardo just coming under braking into the first corner, and Kevin right behind Miles Sewell as well. So what that means is that Ricardo Rivera is on cold, dry tires, and Kevin is on warmer, dry tires. He needs to go for it. But with 3 seconds of a gap, Steven, I'm not sure that's going to happen. Well, what is going on here?
I have no idea what is going on there, as we have a lot of movement still on the track right now, as we have Provolone being... Oh, man, Zane is just wearing the bumper out of Provolone. And I am very impressed with Zane Blisket's performance tonight.
Whoa.
He's doing awesome.
We're just about 3 wide. Oh, my goodness. Neil Kerbel is... he's probably absolutely terrified of that, man, and I don't blame him. Casey Schutte also going to be these 3 cars. Can't fit a hair between the 3 of them. That was incredible racing. Somehow, all of them coming out unscathed. We're going to go 2 by 2 into the Dunlop hairpin, under braking. It's going to be the car on the outside. Neil Kerbel on the outside. Illipo going to send onto the inside, trying to capitalize on the mistake there after Neil went for the overtake onto Casey, and Illipo should have this advantage. Though it's going to be the outside line for the next sequence of corners. Some bumping and banging as they reach the apex, and Illipo sticking with it, keeping his foot in it. I think he is not going to have it done just yet. A flash of the headlights, maybe not quite too happy with that, but hey, all's fair in racing from what I saw there.
Yeah. As we now have our race leader, Lycos is now in the pits, changing off to those dry tires, and I think we're going to have a lead change with Ricardo Rivera now coming down the front straight. Lycos still in the pits. Yes, we now have a lead change. The undercut has worked in Ricardo Rivera's favor,
and Kevin
has now put him 2 seconds ahead of Lycos.
Kevin comes out basically side by side with his teammate as well. Also, Gage Gonzalez has received a stop-go 30 penalty. I think that was for coming into the pits a little bit too hot.
Oh.
We also, in Twitch chat, 55 Garage, end up disconnecting. What was your in-game name? I'm curious. Also, Ollie asking, how is he typing and driving? Yeah, he was in the pits when he did that, but that is still too much multitasking for my brain. But hey, as a lot of these drivers, they watch the stream while they're driving, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know how they do that. What is going on here? Professor Cronotis, Jason Provolone, Darren Thomas, and Zane Blisket all side by side as we speak with, I think that's Tony Danzig in the back. Cronotis is well off the track, gonna have to rejoin there. Does stick ahead. Is he gonna give that position to Provolone? I don't think he is. Wow, though, we are gonna be tight racing, and that's big contact between the Noobs R Us car. He goes flying. Whoa. Darren Thomas also now has a polystyrene barrier glued to his rear car. What has happened there? Can I get a rear view? We can't get a rear view shot of this car. Oh, he drops it. Okay.
Wow.
We're going to go back 30 seconds and watch all of this unfold from this camera angle here. This is going to be a big one. The Noobs R Us car veers over to the... just didn't check his blind spot. Wow, clips the back of that barrier, and that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 pirouettes. That is a figure skating move that you don't tend to see too much in racing.
Yeah, I have a feeling that the spotter for that Noobs R Us racing team, they're gonna have to have a real conversation and be like, why would you send him that far over? There was no clear space there.
Yeah, there was definitely a car where Tony Danzig wanted to place his car, and as a result, Darren Thomas, very unlucky. Darren Thomas, 2 nights in a row, has been taken out in a manner in which that he has almost no control. So I do feel for you, Darren, if you are watching this back, because that really is too bad. That was, yeah. Anyways, moving on from that, George Elmer challenging Zane Blisket. This is a battle for P9. We have 18 minutes and 53 seconds left in this race. It's absolutely flown by.
Yeah, and we have a battle currently for P3. Lycos is struggling to get those tires lit up, and Kevin Rivera is right on his bumper.
Any team orders at play here? The Puerto Rican driver going to be getting a bit frustrated from behind, if I had to guess. Going to be getting on the radio there with Jeremy Cubbage saying, hey, Jeremy, Kevin is faster than Thanasis. And, well, that does seem to be the case currently. As we'll take a look when they come to the line. Of course, that will be the determining factor. But, for now, it seems that Kevin certainly has the pace over Thanasis. Miles going to be coming into this party. There is the slipstream, and there is the move, and there's the squeeze as well. There are no team orders on for tonight for these 2 Noobs R Us cars. Big squeeze. That's going to allow Miles Sewell into this conflict. These 2 remaining side by side on the rejoin. Miles just needs to stay out of this one and wait for these 2 to essentially ruin each other's race and stick his nose in and take this podium. And he is going to take the position now from Thanasis. Thanasis, can he go late enough onto the brakes? He will have the inside line, but no. Ends up backing out. Miles Sewell takes that. Up next is going to be Kevin Rivera.
Yeah, so Kevin Rivera now is net P2 with Miles Sewell now net P3. Unfortunately, I don't think Lycos has the right pressures in that car, or he's just been running offline into a little bit of a wetter section of the track, and it just keeps cooling down his tires, and he just has no grip.
Ooh, Miles way too deep into the first corner. That's going to allow Thanasis back, though. Nothing of it, as Steven's saying, just not enough pressure there, or not enough temperature in those tires. Something is not there for Thanasis to allow him to capitalize on those mistakes from Miles Sewell, because that should have been a one-and-done overtake, really.
Yes, it should have been.
Also, absolutely no sign of any dampness on the track. It seems we are at this point in a full dry track.
Yes, we are in a green track condition right now, but I'm thinking that those curbs are probably just still a little bit wet. As we have seen in green track conditions and transitioning conditions, those curbs do not like to dry out very fast. As we have Zane Blisket attacking Professor Kanotis for that P10 position, and unfortunately is now under threat from Jason Provolone.
Those two have been at it for a while now.
Yes, they have.
Provolone sniffing the rear bumper of Zane Blisket. So far, though, not going to make any looks or moves just yet. He's going to bide his time, be patient. You can see, though, the Ginetta, probably a decent car pick here at the Nürburgring. One of the tracks that doesn't have the longest straights, and it has a good amount of corners, so the Ginetta should be pretty advantageous. Just the only real challenge with that, of course, is you're driving on the wrong side of the car, but if you can make do with that, then hey. Of course, wrong side of the car for us Americans.
Yes. We have Neil Kerbel right now fighting Illipo Rautsalainen for that P6 position. He's within half a second. And it seems like it's a little bit of a stalemate as these two are dropping lap after lap that are relatively close to each other.
Now, these here, Steven, are two drivers, in my opinion, to keep an eye on. Darren Thomas and Tony Danzig. They're both down 9 positions from where they started and have Justin Beachley in front. Justin Beachley, he's actually up 4 from P18, and not really any signs of him wanting either of these drivers by, but I have a sneaking suspicion that on this straight we might see an overtake. Although the only thing is, this is AMG straight line speed versus Ginetta straight line speed, and I think everybody on the planet knows how that goes. The thing is the braking on the Ginetta is going to be where it's most advantageous. As it stands, didn't quite get it done.
Did not get it done, and unfortunately coming in a little bit too early, that Ginetta did, and got bounced around on that corner exit.
And just for reference, oh my goodness, what has happened to my pit wall? Okay, a little refresh should solve that, I hope. But a little update from our speed time. So the AMG is the second quickest car, actually the quickest car, tied for it on track at 229 kph in a straight line. Now Zane Blisket in the Ginetta is actually only 2 kph slower. So not too much of a difference, but still that is going to be, of course, turn 1, your most advantageous overtaking opportunity. And the Ginetta not really able to capitalize into that.
Raleigh Duche coming in a little bit too early, coming into Coca-Cola, and hits those tire barriers at the pit entry.
Oh no, again?
Oh, yes.
The exact... Really? Hold on, we got to go back and see that.
I did the replay as we have Vinar off at NGK.
Well, I missed that too. We'll catch the lead up to Zuka messing up. I think we'll literally catch him about to spin, and then it'll cut. Yep, there he goes. He's spinning. Oh, he's off. All right, we caught the whole thing. Nice. At least we caught something on that replay.
Yeah, but the Nasus, maybe he's starting to see a little bit of life in those tires as he's now wearing a hole into Miles Sewell's bumper. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like that Aston Martin has the pace to get around that Mercedes, though, unfortunately.
Taking a look a bit further down. What? Why do you have your four-ways on? Adam, driving with his four-ways on, is going to be throwing Devin Smallblock Anthony off a little bit. Now, Devin, he knows the Camaro better than most people. He actually, in case anyone was curious, has blown up the engine of a Camaro. Now, that is a feat that most drivers do not have. But tonight, he is behind the wheel of that straight 6, of course. He moved over to that ever since he blew up the engine of the Camaro. He decided that that was not the car for him. Now, what has happened here? Potts Weaver. Oh, okay, we're good. That was a fine rejoin. Nothing happened. I overreacted. All right, Zuka late on the brakes, taps the back of Potts Weaver. Zuka gets the worst end of it. Potts kind of tries to keep his foot in it. Unfortunately, the JG Wentworth is going to need another infusion of cash there to maybe strap on some more tires after a bit of a flat spot will be forming there.
It looks like Vinar is just parking the car off the track. Too much damage to try and get it back into into the pit lanes.
Zuka the Bazooka, unfortunately, putting that name into a little bit too much of a truth tonight. Looking to come back in the future, though, and put on a decent result, I presume.
And we have Tony Danzig still attacking Darren Thomas, trying to get around him. But Darren Thomas just keeps closing the door and not letting Danzig through.
I mean, fair play. I wouldn't either. Darren Thomas doing everything he should do right now in that Shelby 350 that isn't a Shelby 350. It's probably the least Shelby 350 car on the planet, actually. A 4-cylinder Ginetta. Also, BMX Star 85, thank you for the follow. And Zuka redeeming a hydrate. Kevin, what are you doing in chat? You got a fuel?
Oh no.
You don't have enough fuel? Lifting coast, brother, you got 10 minutes left. You can't be off by more. If you're off by more than a liter, you're pretty screwed, though. But still.
Yeah, and he is right now being gobbled up by Miles Sewell and Thanasis Lycos.
Is what it is.
Oh.
Misjudge on that strategy, and he is going to have to, well, try his best to manage to the end. In fact, we can hop on board. Let's see if is he doing any lifting coasting into these corners. Oh, yes. Well, not really. He did a little bit, but he, I think at this point, has a little bit of an incentive. Oh, yeah, big lifting coast through there. Yeah, I mean, he's going to need to if he wants to make it to the end. And Zuka with a hydrate. If only Zuka in chat also, you shouldn't be here, but hey, I understand in your case. But we will provide a hydrate, of course, for some racing fuel. Thank you, of course, donating 100 liters of racing fuel to us. Well, if only that could be sent the way of Kevin Rivera.
I think 100's a little bit too much, as we now have a battle for our red plate lead. Zane Blisket is now under attack by Reggie King.
We also are seeing the evolution of this battle come to a close, I think. Darren Thomas going for it, but I don't think he's going to get it done either. I don't even know. Regardless, Provolone's going to be ahead here of Darren Thomas. Also, did I just call a Ginetta a 4-cylinder? It's a V6? Yeah, you're right, it is. The Alpine's a 4-cylinder. My apologies. Ginetta's a V6. Wait, is it? I thought the Ginetta was a 4-cylinder. Is it a V6? How big is it?
If they fit a V6 under the hood of that tiny car, that's amazing.
I thought it was like a 2.3 4-cylinder. Just a little naturally aspirated thing, but I could be wrong.
All right, so we have Kevin Rivera playing the lifting coast game. Miles Sewell, and there's kind of keeping pace. Kevin Rivera just keeping him out of that slipstream zone. And Thanasis Lycos still trying to move on Miles and just not gaining anything. I really think he just got his tire strategy wrong, and he is off pace as we have Reggie King coming together with Tony Danzig. Tony Danzig working his way through. I think there might have been contact there. Yes, there was. Tony Danzig just coming in and getting a little off kilter, coming in and hitting the apex of that corner. Nürburgring is known for its high curbs, and those high curbs will send you off.
Reggie King is going to be ahead here of Tony Danzig. Tony still on the charge, though, into the final few corners. Going to make a move into the Schumacher S, or excuse me, into the NGK chicane. Now that is a... Wait, where are we? We're in the Schumacher S's? No, we're in Valvoline.
Yeah,
Vorsteiner.
Just going through Warsteiner.
That is absolutely terrible. I was trying to look at the markers on track. Also, Zuka saying that it's a 3.7 liter V6. I'm assuming naturally aspirated. They fit a 3.7 inside the Ginetta? That's insanity. Is there any room for, like, cooling? That's quite a large engine, actually.
That is.
Neil Kerbel side by side with Ilippo Rautsulainen. Ilippo getting by as well as Aaron Miller. Wait, Aaron Miller? What's Aaron Miller doing back that far? Regardless, Neil Kerbel side by side still. This is a tight battle. The Alpine gonna try to eke his nose ahead, and he should have the advantage now. Heading down towards the Dunlop hairpin, he'll have the inside line once again. Every advantage in the world should be for this Alpine, but Ilippo, he is a Finnish fighter, and he is gonna go for it around the outside. Look at that, late on the brakes, gonna carry the speed. He's gonna go onto the marbles though. That's the one disadvantage, and that will affect his traction onto the back, not so straight, but he does not care. He's going to stick with it into the Schumacher S's, and get the job done. Ilippo Rautsulainen, that was one of the best defenses I think I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, and that Camaro just has that straight line speed to really get off the line well. And unfortunately, the Alpine just is just outpaced by it. We have Darren Thomas trying to make a move on Cheeseman Provolone coming through the Schumacher S's. Unfortunately, has to back out as we're now coming into Michelin Curve.
Cheeseman Provolone in P14. That's not his new nickname. I absolutely hate that, Steven. Darren Thomas, though, pressuring the Stinky Cheese Man. Why does the Stinky Cheese Man sound better than the Cheese Man? That just doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
Regardless, it is what it is. He is the Stinky Cheese Man. And it ain't easy being cheesy. Jason Provolone, he knows that best. As you were saying before there, Steven, Thanasis Liakos, he is just not quite able to make any sort of bounds or strides onto Miles Sewell in P3. Just kind of been following him around for the past 4 or 5 laps and really had no attempt on anything in terms of going for the move.
Yeah, it looks like like I said, it just something was off with his pit stop, and Miles and him have just been trading laps. One lap Miles does well, the next lap Thanasis does well, but just not well enough to really make any strides. And Kevin Rivera just keeping these two just outside of that slipstream zone of 1 second.
Yeah, but what does that mean for Kevin Rivera's fuel tank? That's the question. We know.
That is the question.
Well, you know, to be honest, Steven, we don't know. Kevin Rivera could have just been saying that. You know, that could have been a bluff to the other drivers, as he knows that other drivers watch this in the behind the background. Which also, guys, why are you watching us? Focus on the road in front of you. Oh, Ilippo getting caught up with the back marker. That's Raleigh Duche. Raleigh trying to get out of the way as quickly as possible. Ilippo almost fell victim to Neil Kerbel. And Neil, as we saw before, the attack of a century, and it was thwarted somehow by the fin of Ilippo Rautsulainen. An incredible defense put on from Ilippo. Like I say, probably driver of the day in my eyes when it comes to just the sheer amount of corners that he went side by side with Neil Kerbel, and neither of them having contact at any point in time. Now, that is what I like to call racing. That is what we are here for as spectators to watch and as drivers to participate in, is that side-by-side action right there. It doesn't matter what place it's for. At the end of the day, it is the most fun and exciting thing you can do.
So moving further back in the field, we have a battle right now for P21. Scott Sullivan, who's unfortunately a little bit out of place, is under attack from Casey Swansea. Casey, that last time around, was 4 seconds faster than Scott. And this is just for the P21 position overall. Casey Swansea, you're holding off on that P4 position as a sizable lead to Jaeger Carter.
Yeah, very nice. Also, our red plate leader here tonight, Zane Blisket, behind the likes of Chronotis. That is not who is in front of him currently. That is going to be Tony Danzig. Wait, what? Zane Blisket?
Tony Danzig made the pass on Zane Blisket that last time around.
My thing just hasn't updated. All right, cool. And Kevin Rivera putting in chat 4.5. I'm assuming that means leaders remaining. He's good then. He's all good. Kevin should be green to the end. 4.5 liters, more than enough for 2 laps. I think. Yeah. Maybe? Maybe not.
While he was typing that, Miles Sewell has gotten into that slipstream zone as they're now coming into the final lap.
That's what you get, Kevin. Don't type and drive. I hate it. Genuinely. Yeah. I appreciate the chat interaction, and I appreciate you having the stream up. However, there's a time and place for everything. Yeah, there's a time and place for everything, and this is not either of those times or places. But big thank you for everyone in chat sticking with us tonight and chatting, keeping us entertained, and just to all the viewers out there lurking and hitting that follow button. We appreciate every single one of you, so thank you so much. Keep an eye on this podium battle as it could change with a blink of an eye. Kevin Rivera, this is the final lap. Does he have enough fuel to make it to the line at 4.5? I presume we're doing about 1.8 liters a lap, so it should be more than enough. How much were you doing in GT3s, Steven?
I was doing about 3 liters per lap in the GT3.
Yeah, 1.8 might be a little low then. Yeah, maybe 2.1.
Probably about 2.4.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, 2.4, 2.1. You can maybe get it down to if you lift and coast. So I think Kevin should be okay, but we're running out of corners, and Kevin, he's running out of fuel. So we're going to find out soon enough. Flash to the headlights. Yes, Kevin, yes. Don't mess up.
As we have Ricardo Rivera coming around Advent Bogen, heading up towards the NGK chicane, into Coca-Cola curve, and this is the final turn of the race, and we will have Ricardo Rivera coming across the line in P1. This battle for P2, P3, and P4 still going on, but it looks like Kevin Rivera is going to hold off Miles Sewell, and Thanasis Lycos is going to take that P4 position with Miles Sewell in P3. So our top 3, Ricardo Rivera, Kevin Rivera, Miles Sewell.
Whoa, Neil Kerbal, is he out of fuel? Why is there a yellow flag for Neil? Neil Kerbal just got overtaken by Ilipo Ratsulainen. Somehow Neil Kerbal was ahead of Ilipo. How did that happen, first off? We missed that. Let's take a look. Oh, he went for a big send. Okay, that's why. So he's ahead. No, he's ahead. Ilipo... Wait, what? What? I don't know what we just watched.
I don't know what happened there, but we have Casey Schutte breaking the curse and getting a P5 finish.
Dang.
As George Elmer comes across the line, and then Professor Chronotis holding off Tony Danzig for that P10, finishing off 10.
Woohoo, Jason
Tony Danzig,
Provolone.
Zane Blisket, Provolone, Darren Thomas, Reggie King, Justin Beachley. They are now just flowing across the line.
What a race it's been as well, Steven. Let's see if we can round up some of those drivers before, hopefully, we have Kevin Rivera in the green room already. You love to see it.
Yeah, we need Ricardo Rivera, Miles Sewell, Zane Blisket, Reggie King, and Justin Beachley to the green room.
Yeah, Zane, Reggie, and Beachley, yes. So as we try to locate them, I've located all of the drivers in the Discord, so any drivers not in the Discord, please do head on over to the green room. But as we have it, we're going to head back into the booth, get some replays up in the background, and start talking to some of our drivers. So let's do exactly that. Head on back. Welcome back to the booth, everybody. And what a race we had tonight. Of course, we are waiting to talk to our drivers. We can head on into the replays as well while that happens. We're going to start pulling them down one by one, though. And Steven, I'll allow you to take this from here.
Okay.
Yes, welcome, everyone.
Alrighty, welcome, gentlemen, to the stream room. Let's start off with Justin Beachley. Justin Beachley, you had a little bit of a rough race, but you managed to get that P3 position for the red plates. Tell us about your race and how it went for you.
Overall, I didn't think it was that rough at all, honestly. You know, it was an interesting first 10 minutes or so with the rain. You know, just trying to scramble to get our setups right, the pitch strategy set up for, you know, whenever we went dry. But I think the start was good. You know, it's better than it has been. No real big contacts or anything, so it was a really clean first lap or two, which is great. You know, I think after the pit stop and everything went dry, I think just about everybody, at least the people I was in voice chat with, went way high on tire pressures. So, you know, I got close to Reggie a couple times to get P2, and he just had a little bit more pace than me. So I'll take the P3 and, you know, move on to next week.
Yeah, and hopefully you can continue on with improving and possibly getting that P2, P1 finish for us. Now, moving on to Miles Sewell, able to hold off Thanasis Lycos all the way from the pit stop to the end. What was going through your mind, man?
Don't make mistakes. And then I kept making mistakes. But thankfully, he was making just a little bit more behind me. There was multiple times going through the Schumacher S where I saw him like touch the gravel, and that would widen the gap again. And then the next lap, he'd bring it right back, and I'm just like, he's going to send it last lap. He has to. I know he's going to. And luckily enough, he got a bad exit out of the final turn, and he didn't have the chance.
Yeah, you two were literally bumper to bumper all the way through the final half of this race, and it was enjoyable to watch. Now moving on to Kevin Rivera, throwing a little shade in the chat, saying he might not have enough fuel. Was that just a trick to try and lure people in, or were you actually concerned?
No, I actually ended with 0.5. I knew after the pits, I knew I had to pass my teammate. I'm like, if I get to pass him, I might be able to catch Ricardo. As soon as I pass him, my crew chief comes and say, we might not make it. I'm like, are you serious? And then I'm like, well, I guess I gotta save fuel. And I was looking at it, I'm like, I think I might, but I'm not sure. But I made it. You know, I knew in sector 2 I was faster than Miles, so I knew I could put away enough to where in other sectors I can lift off a little bit earlier just to save fuel.
Mm-hmm.
And then what helped me too was them two fighting each other. As long as I kept them off my my stream, I knew I was gonna be, you know, safe. But then at the end, I'm like, nope, I gotta save. Forget this.
Yeah.
But it was a great race between all four of us. It was really fun.
Yeah, and you held them off fantastically. Now moving on to our race winner, Mr. Ricardo Rivera, getting the undercut done with the pit stops to get the pass on Thanasis. Dude, what was going through your mind in the whole start of this race? You were behind them and just gaining, but not getting enough to get the pass, and then just getting that undercut, man.
Yeah, the start of the race, all I was hoping was to survive turn 1. So I actually braked like super early and lost the position. And then after, I didn't want to rush anything out and just wait for the pits until the was the perfect window. I think was like half a lap later than me, or half a lap earlier than him. So at that moment I pitted, I was like, whatever he does, I do the opposite. Because I think that was between that lap and the next lap was the perfect window to change to dry tires. But yeah, the undercut ended up paying. I don't know if it was actually the undercut or the amount of time I was losing behind him. So it was like the pace difference I just got between that clean lap, or it was actually the undercut.
From where we were sitting, it definitely looked like that undercut really worked out for you. And we would like to thank all of our drivers for joining us for our end of race interviews. We hope you guys can continue on with your successes into the next set of races.
Thank you so much.
Yes, indeed. Congratulations to you guys, and definitely we'll see you in the next one. So thank you and have a great night.
Have a good one.
You
Thanks.
See, man.
And big thank you as well, of course, to chat. You guys are amazing once again. Love you guys so much. One of the best chats out there on Twitch, to be completely honest. Of course, thank you as well to Steven Tomazic. Steven, thank you for adding some amazing commentary tonight. Pleasure is mine.
No, the pleasure is mine. Joining you for these races adds a lot of excitement to my Monday nights.
It really does. I got to say, these Monday series in particular, the GT4s are some absolute thrillers. And of course, big thank you to our patrons as well. You can see all their names on screen right now. Big thank you to our V12 exotics, especially, like I say, names on screen, V8 Muscle, and our inline fours as well. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for making us want to continue and just go to bigger and better balance here at Trackalicious. You guys are amazing. Once again, that's going to be it. We're going to be raiding, though, so let's do that, and we are going to raid Yoko. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce it, but nonetheless, it's Josie Koo, if you guys are curious. The man that we are going to be running the Hyper... oh, shoot, I forgot the name. Syntho Drive. There we go. The Syntho Drive Championship with on Wednesdays coming up. So if you have any questions, he is the man to ask. He's the one running all of the data. He's the one who came up with this idea. So if you guys have questions about Syntho Drive, let's go and let's talk with Josie Koo and have, once again, a lovely evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever you guys are in this fine world. I am Mike Nause. Thank you and good night.
See you later.